All right. All set. Three, two, and one.
Welcome, everyone. Sir Exile asked, "Where's the music?" Yeah, we don't have a track yet for this. Okay, it's coming. It's coming. This is not Media Scope. How is everybody doing? Welcome to another week of, and we're live. This is the show where we talk all about video and live streaming and how it can work for you and your business and beyond. My name is Tachi, and I'm a media professor, filmmaker, media content producer. I'm also a journalist. I am passionate about live streaming, and I'm joined by my illustrious co host, Curtis.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Curtis,
Hey, hey.
how's it going?
It's going well.
You sound like it's going
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Another show.
it's clear. It's clear you're excited to be here. And Sir
Yes.
Exile is laughing. And let me say hello to Bobby Stamps and Mike Hines, who are joining us on the Facebook Live side. DJ Checos and Sir Exile are the Periscope side. Thank you all so much for being here. And we're also live on LinkedIn as well. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Oh, and YouTube. Can't forget YouTube.
We are everywhere.
Yeah, we are everywhere. And it looks like we're live on YouTube. I see it. I see it.
Awesome.
Yay. All right. Cool beans. All right. So today we are, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about live stream, and we're live. We're talking
Thank
about
you.
choosing a platform, part two.
Yes. But as I was about to say, thank you, Captain Obvious. The show is called and we're live. So we know we're talking about live streaming and video, but today specifically, we're going to talk about platforms. Now, last week we covered three platforms. We talked about Facebook Live, we talked about Instagram Live, and what was the third? Periscope. So
That's correct.
yes, thank you very much. So, Captain Obvious. So we talked about those three platforms, and we alluded to the fact that there are so many other platforms. New live streaming platforms are popping up by the minute. It's not even funny. I mean, some are also like not really gaining their wings. So
Right.
we wanted to talk about some of the ones that are, shall we say, the most out there or the most popular. This is
It's a
not to say, go ahead.
it's a hugely competitive space, and
Yeah,
that's it's really it's huge.
it's huge. It's huge.
Enormous.
Ginormous. It's a big space, and you know why? Because it there is a potential for money to be made. Let's be real. Wherever there
Absolutely.
is the potential to monetize things, people are going to be in the space, even if they don't quite know how to monetize it yet. And we're going to talk about that, but I think people are still a little bit unclear, particularly advertisers are still unclear as how to make the monetization end of live streaming and video work well. But it can work. But I think there's also a leeriness because people are so used to traditional linear video
Right.
and linear media. So it's thinking outside of the box and thinking differently
I
now
think
about this.
accountability is a big piece too for the advertisers, the businesses who are looking for the influencers or different brands to advertise them, especially some of the influencers on YouTube or different social media platforms. The bigger piece of it is accountability. Can they trust these people to stay on the right track and not associate their name or their brand with something just totally off the cuff?
Well, here's the thing. I think advertisers are scared about that because we've seen this with YouTube and
Yes.
people not wanting to have their brands next to certain videos.
Right.
Because when you advertise on particular shows, I mean, this is the same thing with traditional linear
Mhm.
television. Look at all the things that have happened where advertisers pulled their spots because they didn't agree with what was in the show, right? The
Right.
same thing happens online, particularly with YouTube and other places, because they want to be sure that their name is not sullied, that it remains pristine, whatever that means. And so they're very careful about where their ads are placed. So you're
Absolutely.
right. You're right. You're right. So we'll talk more. We've got forever to talk about all this stuff. But today, what we're going to talk about is three more platforms that you could use to put your content on. And there are three platforms that you, well, at least one of them you may have thought about, but the other two you may not have thought about. So I think it will be interesting to cover these because sometimes people, welcome back, Sir Exile, and Daryl Hutton, welcome on the Periscope side. I think sometimes people are so diehard Facebook Live or diehard that they don't consider the other
Right.
options out there. And this is not saying don't use Facebook Live. This is just saying consider some other things. So maybe you want to multicast, right? So that's what we're going to do today. Yes?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So today we're going to talk one of the biggest video platforms. Actually, I'm not even going to say one of. It is the biggest video platform. It's YouTube, right? Right?
Yeah, YouTube.
And thank you for inviting followers, Sir Exile. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So YouTube is huge. So the cool thing, and Aisha Johnson Adams says, your hair looks great, Curtis.
Oh, thank you.
I was like, she can't be talking to me because it's wrapped up.
Thanks.
So she's talking to you, bouncing and behaving hair.
I've thought about this so many times. That's hilarious.
And Bobby is here today. So
What's up, Bobby?
And Jay, hey, how are you? Welcome on the Facebook Live side.
Hey,
Let me
Jay.
take a break before we get into the YouTube thing to say hello to everyone. My name is Tachi, and I'm with
Curtis.
I'm glad that you had to think about your name before you put it out there. Were you going to use an alias?
I was gonna put the title up, but it just kind of.
It's all right. Don't worry. They'll get it. So without the title, don't worry. And we talk. This is and we're live. No, let me say it properly. And we're live. You have to do it with the Bob Fosse hands to get the real gist of it. This is where we talk about live streaming and video and how it can work for you and your business. And we talk about all sorts of things from the planning to the execution. So we are still kind of in the midst of the planning stages. And today we're talking about three new platforms or three more platforms because we talked about three last week. So we're on YouTube right now. YouTube, as I said, is the largest video platform. You can also live stream. So we're going to talk about something. Let me give you some statistics, or statistics, but statistics. Do you want to put up the graphic, or do you want me to just kind of?
You know what? You might
Talk.
have to.
Okay.
Yeah, you might have to.
Thank you, producer extraordinaire. So I'm just going to talk about it since we do not have the graphic. So consider these. When I'm giving you the statistics connected with all of these, because that is really what helps you to determine where your message will be the most effective. Okay. So before you start doing anything in terms of placing your video somewhere or live streaming to a platform, you need to consider who your audience is in general and whether or not your audience lives on that platform. Now, I'm going to say this ahead of time. Simply because your audience doesn't live on the platform now doesn't mean they'll never live on the platform, particularly with some of these newer ones. Sir Exile says YouTube has great latency right near Twitch, but not better. Sir Exile, yes, and he's a tech person, so he knows. That's another thing. So thank you for putting that out there, the latency. So YouTube, the great thing about YouTube is that you can stream, and you could also upload videos. But let's talk about some of the stats. So 1.9 billion monthly active users. Billion with a B, people.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of users. That's a lot of monthly active users. They're almost up there. They're not that far away from YouTube. Facebook. Facebook as a whole has 2.5, I believe it is, monthly active users. Okay, so 2.5 billion. So this is 1.9. So YouTube is quickly encroaching on YouTube. Sorry, I keep saying YouTube. Facebook's dominance. Okay, so they also have 30 million plus daily active users. So that means altogether they've got on a monthly basis 1.9 billion. 1.9 billion use it, but on a daily basis there are over 30 million people using it. That's a pretty good. Those are pretty good odds, I think. Oh, now we've got the thingy. Thank you. Fantastic. We've got the graphic. Okay. So I'm going to just keep talking. And there are over 5 billion videos on YouTube. Okay. So that's great because you're a good company, but it could mean a slight downside. So let's talk about the pros and the cons. And so who is YouTube good for? YouTube is good for, I mean, it can be good for everyone because there's so many people on there. It's so broad. There's so many different niches that you can address. You're going to be in good company. So it's not going to be completely off the mark, whatever you want to do. It's a huge video marketplace. It's great because one of the pros is search and discovery. It's easy to find you, right? It's very easy, particularly if you're using keywords, particularly if you're writing really good descriptions. It's very easy to find you because remember, YouTube is Google, right?
Right.
I don't know why they did this. So the parent company is actually really Alphabet, but everybody just still says Google, right? So
Right.
whatever. So Google and YouTube are both under parent company Alphabet, XYZ, whatever you want to call it. So Google is the largest search engine. YouTube is the second largest search engine. Okay. So that means your search and discovery is great. And as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to video and live video, being able to find your stuff is key. You can have wonderful content, but if I can't find you, it's all for naught.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Sir Exile says, we should consider remaining open to other outlets. Absolutely. Daryl Hutton, thank you for sharing this on Twitter. Sir Exile also says YouTube has great latency. Okay. And YouTube is available massively on massively different viewing platforms and browsers. Yes, exactly. And you don't have to sign in to be able to watch it. I think that's another plus. So people can experience your content without actually having to have an account or sign in. Now, if you have a Google account, you have access to all of that because YouTube is part of that. But you don't necessarily, like where with other platforms, you really do, to experience the fullness of it, they're going to want you to sign in or download an app. And you don't have to do that with YouTube. You could go right to your desktop and watch to your heart's desire. You could go, YouTube also has apps on every major over-the-top platform as well. Roku, Chromecast, Fire Stick, right?
Right.
So it's all over the place. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say is that I think it's also important for the brands or small businesses or even large businesses to have those platforms where individuals or consumers of content can access your content easily without having to sign in and, just as you mentioned, or 6 steps to access your information.
Yes, absolutely. You're right. Absolutely. Let me say hello. Look at this. Troy DeVold, the reality TV show producer extraordinaire, is here. Thank you for being here. Yolanda Lattimore is also here. And yes, Yolanda, we are on Periscope. It's Curtis's Periscope, which is Curtis Brooks Media Pro. Is that correct?
That is correct.
At Curtis Brooks Media Pro, if you're wanting to watch on Periscope. Natalie Crew is here too. Welcome. Oh, wow. Okay. I have to say this one. She said Curtis's hair is about to land him a new gig as the new face of Just For Me. Oh, wow. He's got some bouncing and behaving hair. I mean, be proud.
Oh, boy.
Wow. So, Dr. Vibe, and welcome to you as well on the Periscope side.
Good old Natalie, huh?
Good old Natalie. You know what? This is the thing. Even when you try to take it in the direction that is somewhat serious, here comes Natalie or Levi to bring it back. So, we can't even do that. even if we try to be serious with this show, we're going to give you serious information, but we know there's going to be shenanigans.
Yeah,
We already know.
I think I've been typecast, you know?
You've been typing. Look, Mediascope has typecast the both of us, but we cannot do anything without shenanigans. Well, we're like Steve Urkel in that sense. Jaleel
Right.
White, poor Jaleel White. That's all he could do. So yeah. So let's keep going. And see, the good thing is there anything else you wanted to say about that?
No.
Okay.
Did we touch bases on the pros and then we?
No, that's what we're doing now.
Okay.
But I didn't know if you had anything else you wanted to add to what you were saying.
No, you're doing a great job.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So we already went over the fact that search and discovery is fantastic, which is a great thing. Also, the fact that it's a well-established brand. Okay, let's be clear. Even though we know, those of us that are streamers already, we know that there are other streaming platforms out there. We know that there are other video platforms out there, Vimeo, for example, right? But we also know that YouTube has brand recognition. And when people are looking for video, where do they go first? Usually YouTube. So why
Absolutely.
would we be so stupid not to be on it, right?
Absolutely.
So if it's there, go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say is that some people will oppose it just because, and that's just how people are. And I think it's almost the same thing with how people will oppose video. It's not always necessary that they're afraid or they've got different issues, but some people just oppose it. And I think that the stats themselves speak mounds to what you could be in opposition of, or a business owner could be in opposition of for reasons why they should not. There are more reasons why you should be doing live stream or some kind of video, some kind of content that you're producing, be it live stream or just video, or at least creating some kind of library or content that your viewers, your audience can consume to learn more about your business. Again, create that know, like, trust relationship with your audience and your viewers. There's more reasons why that you should be using video in your business than not.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of people who don't use video.
Yeah.
I work with video on a daily basis
Right.
because the my big thing is film overall, but my big
Sure.
thing that I've gotten into lately, of course, is film and video and real estate. So I work with a lot of realtors, and honestly, realtors tend to be not as adept with social media
Right.
and not as adept with video.
Right.
So they want the exposure, but they're a very traditional
Yes, absolutely.
industry. Let's say that they do a lot of word of mouth. A lot of people, there are still people that are really not doing much with social media.
Right.
I'm working with some of them now, trying to bring them up to speed, not doing much with social media because they still do business the old school way, which is great. But I think it has to be a combination of both, and video should be a major part of your strategy.
Absolutely.
If you are in real estate. Real estate is visual. So I don't
Absolutely.
understand how you cannot make that a part of your strategy.
Absolutely. It reminds me, remember if years ago, and I think some banks still use them, but remember those if you're making a deposit and you use the little canisters?
Yes, the vacuum.
Yeah, you put the little money or your deposit into that vacuum or
They
whatever.
still do it, I think.
Do they still use that? Yeah,
Yeah.
that reminds me of the
Yeah.
real estate industry.
Well, the places that have a drive-through, but look, that's modern
Right.
technology for them.
Right, exactly.
Okay, that's the latest in modern technology. Those
Right.
vacuum tube things,
Yes.
though it is fascinating. So I guess if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right,
But
right.
I think you can't always take that attitude when we're
Sure.
talking about. Remember, so here's the thing, guys. When you have a business, your business is not just for today unless you're planning to close up shop next year.
Right.
Your business is also for tomorrow, and you have to think about who tomorrow's customer is.
Right.
If tomorrow's customer is watching content on their devices, if tomorrow's customer is digital, that's where you need to be.
Right.
And I think by not doing that, you're saying I'm only concerned about today.
I think also we at different intervals or different times as our business evolves, is not so much just the business, but as people are evolving in their in the manner that they consume content, we have to learn as business owners how to articulate our vision, our business, our ideas to this generation, to in the way that the people are consuming content. We have to
Mhm.
constantly be ready to articulate or learn how to articulate our business ideas or what we're trying to convey in our message.
I agree. I agree. Absolutely. You have to adapt. You have to be
Absolutely.
adaptable. And part of being adaptable is taking on new technology, whether you
Yes.
like it or not. I'm sorry. Some people probably don't like it.
Yeah.
And again, old school
But it's
methods
here.
are fine. But
Yeah.
I think there are many of us that keep getting left behind because we're not willing to adapt.
But how many, I mean, I wonder if there's stats on how many businesses have actually closed their doors for the fact that, I don't know, is it that the business owners were too stubborn to change, or how many business owners have closed their doors for the fact that they did not adapt to the change that was around them? And obviously the change is visible because now their business is closed because they didn't want to use video. They didn't want to use whatever that form
Excuse
of-
me. Blockbuster. Excuse me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's a ton
Blockbuster
of
Video is a
Yeah.
perfect example of that. They were not wanting to
Right.
adapt and change, and they thought that they could keep doing what they were doing forever. And this is one thing. Everybody, I know most of us here are in business in some way or shape
Mhm.
or form. I know that we often tend to be risk adverse. If there's something that works, we continue doing it. But if you don't take risks, you don't grow and you don't change. Part of taking the risk is taking that gamble. It's not even a gamble anymore. It's a must on video, on technology. But for the sake of this, video, right?
right.
So very good. All right, and let me just acknowledge folks at Dryer Buzz. Welcome back, folks on Periscope. Hopefully everything is going well. Thomas Parker, hello. Thomas Parker and I went to Howard University together. So welcome, Thomas. Thank you for being here on the Facebook Live side. And Jose is over here on the Facebook Live side as well. Welcome. Thank you for being here. All right. So we're going to keep going with some of the pros about YouTube. And you guys, if you're using, let us know if you are using YouTube to either live stream or post video, and how that's working for you. And what you would like to change about your strategy about what you're doing with it. Put all that in there. That all in the chat.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I really want to know. I
Mhm.
really want to know. So I talked about the fact that it's a well-established brand. People know it. If you're going to look up videos, the first place they usually go to is YouTube, right? They don't
Absolutely.
even, you can Google, obviously, these videos, but people just go straight to YouTube and put it in the search there. So if you're looking for video specifically, they go straight to YouTube. So that gives you the opportunity to be found. Also, the cool thing is that you can use desktop and mobile for these things. You know, some apps really only work well with mobile. They're intended to be mobile apps. YouTube allows you to both to post and go live from both desktop and mobile. And believe me, it has gotten so much better than it
Right.
used to be. YouTube used to be a beast. In fact, I didn't want to be bothered with YouTube Live. In fact, the first time I went live, I think it was 2015 or 16 to
Mhm.
YouTube, and they hadn't really worked out kinks and stuff. No, I'm lying. Because Google Hangout technically was YouTube Live.
Really?
Technically, it was the same interface and the same. In
Hmm.
fact,
Okay.
remember when you
Yeah.
went live to Google Hangout,
Right.
you had to go through YouTube and
That
set
is
all of
right.
that up.
That is right.
So that was
That is right.
technically YouTube Live.
Interesting. Okay.
It was, let me tell you how that, well, I detested Google. I liked Google Hangouts, but it was so difficult because I would host conversations on there for the publication that I write for. So we would host conversations, and they were great conversations, but everybody was not a technophile like I am. So I would have to, the day before, go through it, make sure they had there, and then you had to have a Gmail account for it to work really well. It was too much. So I've been dealing with it for a while, and let me tell you, now it is so much easier than it was before. Much easier.
Right.
Jose says I'm right. Yes, I try not to speak half-truths. If I don't know, I just say nothing. William Slace, welcome on the Facebook Live side. Thank you for being here. So that it's so much easier now, mobile and desktop. Also, the music and special effects library, right, Curtis?
Absolutely. It's huge.
So that's the good thing for if you're a producer. You don't necessarily
Yes.
have to sit there and worry about what music can I use that I'm not going to get
Right.
dinged for. Because remember, we're talking about royalty. You need royalty-free music. Now, royalty-free doesn't always mean free. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
there's a difference between free and royalty free. So you need to use royalty free music for whatever videos you're using. And you don't have to worry about that aspect if you use the videos from, sorry, the music library and the
From
sound effects
YouTube.
library from YouTube.
Right.
By the way, and we forgot to mention this last week, Facebook also has that. They also have a music library. I don't know if you all know, but they do.
Yeah, I'm certain that it's not as extensive
No.
as YouTube though.
From what I've seen of it, it's not as extensive. And YouTube has, very extensive types of genres. And so it's
Absolutely.
great. You don't even have to, oh, what
Absolutely.
song am I going to use? You could pick it. Now, the thing you run into is that you're going to hear that song probably over and over
Right.
because other
Absolutely.
people probably liked it too. If you
Absolutely.
like it, chances are other people like it too. So that is, a downside with that. But the good thing is you can add audio interest to your videos by using the audio library from YouTube. So that's kind of cool. And also monetization opportunities. Now, remember, we just talked about the fact that the monetizing end of it has been elusive for some people.
Right.
YouTube really created and invented monetization of videos. Okay, let's be clear. Everybody else trying to jump on the bandwagon now, this is after YouTube has done it. So they've monetized for quite some time now, and there is the opportunity for you to monetize, which is another reason to include YouTube in your video strategy. Now, note I said strategy, not just one thing, strategy, meaning platforms, plural. Shay, welcome. Thank you for being here on Periscope. Go ahead, MC. I'm sorry.
No, I wasn't going to say anything. Trying
Okay.
to find the information on YouTube in regards to where you can find different settings within YouTube where you can access the different guidelines.
Okay,
But,
good. And then once you
yeah.
find it, you can let us know. You can
Mhm.
we can put it out there for you guys. And then again, the good thing is that there's a myriad of content. You're not going to be alone in the fact. It's not going to be weird. Everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, but there's so many people on YouTube, 1.9 billion. So we're talking about 2 billion people. You're going to be able to cultivate a tribe from somewhere out of 2.9 billion people. So saying all that, the reasons why, yeah, there are some minuses in terms of YouTube.
Absolutely.
And the biggest thing that it's saturated. YouTube has 1.9 billion people, which means that doesn't mean that they all stream, but certainly many of them watch. How do you wrangle them into your tribe, right? So it's an uphill battle. Not that it's not doable, it certainly is. But I think sometimes people come to the table with the notion of, oh, I'm going to be able to get like 2 million followers like person
Right.
X. And it doesn't help that when you sign on to YouTube, like if you're already signed in, you get all these suggested videos, and none of the suggested videos are from people with like 50 followers.
Right.
They're all from people with like, a couple of 100,000 of followers,
Sure.
sometimes a couple of million. Natalie Crew, welcome back. And Daryl, welcome back. So it's all from people that are known. So it makes you feel like, oh, okay, I'm going to be able to do this and sometimes it's a crawl. Sometimes it takes years to develop that presence. It is not
Absolutely.
instant. And this is with live streaming or video in general, but I think it's more of an uphill battle on YouTube because there are so many more people on YouTube and trying to be on YouTube, right?
Right. I think it's certainly a lot of eyeballs there on YouTube. People watching videos and consuming content in just all different genres of video and music, and just a plethora of different videos and information you can attain from YouTube. But the flip side of that is that you've got to be able to entertain the people, your audience, to get them to watch your video. And
okay. So explain what you mean. You mean tap dance, tell jokes?
Yeah, essentially, because again, as Dr. Tachi mentioned, that the market is completely, or that space on YouTube is completely saturated. It really is. And it doesn't mean that you can't acquire an audience or build an audience.
Mm-hmm.
It just means that it's going to take a lot more effort, because if you're going up against people who have 100,000 subscribers, 1,000, in my case, even 100 is, you know, but if you're going against people who have hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of subscribers, as Dr. Tachi mentioned, it takes time. And I think for us as entrepreneurs or business owners, we really, we don't realize how much time it takes, because in that space, as you're building content, you literally have to go watch the video. You have to see where the audience began listening, and perhaps at some point the audience drops off. So you're going to really be looking at the analytics of it,
Yeah.
of your video. So you've got to really kind of dive into YouTube and find out what tools they have, what tools are available to you, so you can again access that information. And you have to use the tools, because YouTube has been known for the tools that they provide their content creators.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And again, that analytics is going to be huge, because any of the content creators that have 100,000 or 1,000 or 10,000, or that are trying to build their tribe on YouTube, they are using those analytics, again, watching those videos, seeing where that the engagement was high at the beginning, and then when the engagement drops off, you got to figure out, okay, why did the people drop off? What could I have done differently? And
Exactly.
so in that next video, or perhaps you're going to revise that video that you had just created, and the engagement wasn't to what you thought it should be, thought it should have been. You can again go in and watch the video, watch where the people have dropped off inside the analytics, because they will show you through YouTube. And then once you create your new video, you got to again just be mindful again of your level of enthusiasm, because it again, going back to entertaining your audience, that's what they're there for. It's for some level of entertainment, the information that you're going to share with them in the unique way that you're sharing the information. You've got to really just be mindful of just making sure that you're paying attention to those dips and those spikes within the video, because if you get the spikes, that's good, because you want to obviously continue on that same trajectory, and make sure that you are going in that same direction, because that's where people are tuning in. But if they start to drop off, again, my point is that it just takes a lot of work. It's not that it's impossible, but it takes a lot of work, and the average business owner is probably too busy to kind of get involved in it. You've got to do your keyword research. So SEO is important. You've got to find out. Excuse me.
Okay, remember, what is SEO?
SEO is search engine optimization. Okay, and those are essentially keywords, or at least a format that Google looks for, or that Google, it's like writing an essay or an essay. You've got a certain format that you use. So the SEO is a format that Google uses, so that your page or your document that you're creating on the web is laid out in a way that the search engine will respond to it more favorably than other pages.
So it also has to do with where you appear in the search results as well.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you're trying to optimize that so that
Yes.
your videos pop up, because your videos are searchable on YouTube, remember?
Absolutely.
So that your videos, your work, your content pops up close to the top. So when
Right.
they type in, if you're a realtor and you type in real estate Miami or whatever, that your stuff pops up. So that's what search engine optimization does. So if you think you don't have to pay attention to it with video, you do.
Yeah,
You do.
absolutely.
It's all in your description, and it's all in the keywords that you
Absolutely.
use. Keywords.
Meta tags as well.
Yeah, and okay, that's a whole other.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's a whole other
Yeah.
thing, the meta tags,
Okay.
which we can get into like later.
Later.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. This is just really an overview of the pros and cons of using them, because maybe you're ready to start streaming or ready to start putting your videos up and you don't know where. So that's
Right.
why we're covering these things.
Right.
So Go ahead.
And just real quick here, if you're looking for more information about the, I guess it's under your Creator Studio, under Community Guidelines, or you'll find it on along the side there under the heading Channel, and then you will find it under Community Guidelines. So it'll be
So you'll go to your Creator Studio,
go to your Creator Studio,
then
and then along the side there, the left hand side, you'll look for Channel,
Channel. Okay.
and then you'll look for the tab. It'll be the first tab that says Status and Features.
Okay. So status and features.
And you'll find more information in regards to the community, what they call community status or community guidelines. They'll give you information about creating longer videos, customizing a URL, super chat, being able to monetize your video, and custom
Which
thumbnails.
is key. I think that's the one thing that everybody
Yeah.
wants to know. How do I make
Yeah.
money off of my content?
Absolutely.
Right. So those are some areas that you can go to get information about that type of thing. So this is not easy, people. I think if you've been listening to us for the past few weeks, this is not just an easy thing. You can
Yeah.
go live, or you could just put up video and it won't do anything if you're not
Right.
doing things properly.
Right.
What is that thing? Those who fail to plan to fail.
Yeah, absolutely.
And nobody wants you to
Absolutely.
fail. That's why we're doing this. We want you to
Absolutely.
win.
Yes.
Yes. This is where we cue "You Can Win" from The Wiz. Anyway. That was playing in my head, but you all can't hear what's in my head. So, moving on. Here's the thing. The other downside of this is there's a lot you have to consider with YouTube. And one of the things is that whatever you're going to talk about, regardless if you think it's unique, it's not. Somebody else
Absolutely.
is talking about it. A few somebody else's are talking about it.
Right.
Okay, a few 100,000 somebody else's are probably talking about
Right,
what you want to
absolutely.
talk about. And as such, you need to stand out in the marketplace. What are you going to do that's different? So let's go back a few weeks. Remember, we talked about the fact before ever you stream, you need to sit and watch what's being done so you know how you can fill in the gaps. This is what you need to do with YouTube. Look and see what's on there. What is not being talked about in the topic you want to approach? That's where you probably need to go. That's where, and that doesn't mean that you cannot cover what's being what's being covered, because you probably do it differently. Everybody does things differently. But the next video that talks about the same thing, what are you going to do
Right.
differently
Absolutely.
that's going to draw in your audience and engage your audience?
And that's where the tap dance comes in.
You can't see my feet, but I'm
Absolutely.
dancing. I actually can tap dance.
We need that
I'm
camera.
not well, but I can tap
We need that ground level camera.
dance. Shoe cam.
Shoot.
Take it. Exactly. Go, MC. Let me go to the room for a minute. William says she did not say tap dance. I did, and I just tap danced for you guys. Jose says regular business people don't have the time. It's where technicians and web developers count. Yes, you are so right. You are so right. So here's the thing. We're already starting to demonstrate how important this is. So this means that you have to find it important enough to make this a part of your strategy, your marketing strategy, your business strategy. And what I find is too often people want to underpay and discount what web developers do, what people who teach live streaming, like
Right.
all of this, they want to discount it because they don't
Absolutely.
want to pay for it.
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
don't pay for it. Then what happens is you're going to have to come back to us after the fact because something
Yeah.
didn't work, and now we have to fix even more. So it's going to be more expensive.
Absolutely.
This does not mean you cannot do it yourself. So the choice is learn this well and do it yourself, which is doable. But if you're also running your business, it may be difficult. Or B, have somebody else do it, and you just have to be prepared to compensate that person for it. The choice is yours.
Yeah. Presentation is the key, folks. Truly. It's, it may not be all of what it's made up of, but it's about what it looks like.
Absolutely.
And that's just the way it is. And so it just makes sense to, if you're as a business owner too busy to handle it, it just makes sense to pay someone to do the work.
Exactly. Because it needs to get done. So you see,
Absolutely.
I think also people don't look at this as a viable business expense.
Yes.
They don't
Yes.
think it's a necessary part of
Absolutely.
business or what they need to do. Business or branding for yourself, that it's not necessary. And because you don't think it's necessary, you don't want to pay for it. But the
Absolutely.
same way you need air condition if you have an office in the Caribbean somewhere, is the same way you need to think about this. It is a necessity.
Yeah. How about we turn off your air supply? Would you? No.
Damn, Curtis.
No, I'm joking. No, I was.
Okay, I don't
No, I
think
was
it's
thinking about
that
a.
critical.
No, it was. I was thinking about a comedian. So sorry.
Oh,
There's
wow.
no.
Wow. Mr. Carlogic,
Yeah.
welcome back. Thank you for being here on the Periscope side. Let me see. William Slay says, I bet I tap dance in my next video. You will. You will. Tap dancing is important. Jose is also singing All We Do Is Win. Win, 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 no matter what. Absolutely. That's another win song. We want you to win. Absolutely. Oh, and thank you for the hearts, whoever is giving the wonderful hearts and thumbs up on the LinkedIn Live side. Thank you. Go ahead and, I see who it is. It is my dear soror, Catherine Menace. Hey, Catherine, how are you? Welcome. Thank you for being here. Good to see you, my dear. All right, and so we're on 4 platforms. Let's take a break and introduce ourselves before we go on to the next platform. We are on LinkedIn Live. We are on Periscope Live, there's no Periscope, which is also Twitter. We're on YouTube Live, and we are also on Facebook Live. Welcome to everybody to And We're Live. We're talking all about live streaming and video for business and beyond. Today we're covering different platforms. We covered 3 last week. We're doing 3 this week, and we are finishing up with YouTube. So go ahead. Were we going to say something, MC?
No.
Okay. So the thing, again, you have to stand out because so many people are talking about what you're talking about. What are you going to do that is different? Think, where
Absolutely.
do you fill in the gaps? The knowledge gaps that are out there, and there are always knowledge gaps. How do you fit in that way? That's how you stand out. You could talk about the same thing. You're going to get the results that you don't want. See what you could do that is different in the topic you want to talk about. Take a different aspect of it. So, and then the other thing, it's a hamster wheel. YouTube audiences thrive on the new. Every audience thrives on the new, but I could say particularly with YouTube audiences, you're going to need to put up new content, stream regularly, because they're on to the next if you are not doing,
Yes,
doing
they
this.
are.
They are like, well, next. She hasn't had a video in 2 days, not 2 days, but they really want the next. So it's a hamster wheel. You are constantly needing to create content, put it up, and not only just create content and put it up, but also reinvent yourself as a content creator. Always paying attention to things. Go ahead.
And you have to have, or at least learn to have thick skin as well, because when those people are unfollowing you, following you, and then unfollowing you, you've got to kind of be prepared for that emotionally.
Well, what did we say last week? Don't read the comments. I'm kidding.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what? Here's the thing. I think you do.
That's
The
for
comments keep you humble, and the comments show that you are
Yes.
paying attention to, or acknowledging the comments show that you are paying attention. Guess what? You're not going to be everybody's flavor. I know I'm not
Mhm.
everybody's flavor. Do
Right.
I look like I care? I don't. I really don't, because the people who I'm for are there with me all the time. And I just may not be your flavor. That's okay. You don't have to like me. It's fine. Just
Right.
like there's some streamer, some people love those bed scopes. Remember, I was talking about the bed live streams. This guy
Right.
with the Choco Meat chest hair, I can't stand him, but he still has like at least almost 300 people every
Jeez.
time he's on. I'm telling you, he will wake up. I caught him the other day. He will wake up and just be like, he will press go live before he wakes up, wake up and be yawning with no shirt on in
Maybe I
the
need
bed
to-
with the taco. But before long, as soon as he goes live, bam, 300 people are on there watching.
Yeah. Maybe I need to make some changes somehow.
If I see you do a scope or a stream from bed with no shirt on and taco meat hanging out, I'm calling the police. Because I can't. I can't.
Someone said an emergency from Fort Lauderdale.
Yes, there's somebody in Dallas, Texas that has no shirt on with taco meat hair hanging out. Could you take care of that, please? Thank you.
Oh, that's funny.
Catherine Minnis makes a really good point on LinkedIn. She says many people do not understand the impact of social media marketing. Absolutely. And you know what? Here's the thing. Not some people don't understand the impact. Some people know it's important, but they don't want to pay for it. Because for them, it's not as important as other things. Go ahead, say again.
No, I was just saying, say that again right there.
Oh, I shall. Let me say that again.
Yeah, please do.
Some people don't understand the importance of social media marketing or social media in general, and some people just don't want to pay for it.
Right.
Just like you, okay, because I'm also an artist. Okay, you guys know that I'm a dancer, choreographer. I also paint and do all those things. So I'm an artist all the way around. And what I've always hated is that when people want you to come and dance for an event or whatever, they want to offer you $100 or it's good exposure. Damn it, I'm past the point of dancing for exposure.
Right.
Pay me. Okay, so just the same, and I hate the fact that people always try to nickel and dime artists like they don't have to eat, like they're supposed to starve. So when people be like, oh, can't we just, no, pay them, pay the artist what they ask. If they are asking for $10,000 for the company to come, you better find a way to get $10,000 or they are not for you.
And, you know, I think too, the challenge is sometimes, especially as an artist or, excuse me, a content creator, if you have not eaten for a while, you know, and $100 might look really good.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the challenge sometimes. And
Yeah.
personally, I'll be very honest with you. I had to stop myself. Seriously, I had to stop myself as a content creator. There's a lot of things that I do, and just kind of that feast of famine kind of thing as an entrepreneur, you will go through that.
Absolutely.
Whereas that it was just like not coming in like I thought it should or believed it should or dreamt it should. And got to a point where I say, wait a minute. Oh, heck no. You know, I had to think about some things, you know, because this person was getting over big time and I knew what I was worth. But again, just going through that place of famine for a while.
Yeah. No,
$100, $10 looks real good.
And you know, put something in the chat, guys, if you've been there and you understand what we're talking about.
Sure.
It's like, yeah, you know it's way less than what you
Absolutely.
want to pay. But what you want to be paid rather. Daryl Hutton says, pay me. Yet exactly. But you're at that point where it's like, well, I could use whatever that is. Here's what you have to realize. It's not just about you. When you undervalue your work, it messes up the entire industry.
Sure it does.
That's everybody. So it's not just you. The next person who comes along and tries to charge for web design or whatever, because they got it from you for $2, now they're going to try and do that to somebody else. It messes up the entire industry. And we have to know what you're worth, but also know what your work in the industry is worth. So
absolutely.
This is a whole other tangent and trajectory, but I think it's important. Know what you're worth, yo.
It is. It's an important conversation for all of us as entrepreneurs because I think I've had to call you a couple of times in different jobs I was working on in regards to
and get some how much
kind of feedback. Yeah, absolutely.
And see, sometimes that's what you need to do, and that's why you need to surround yourself with people who are knowledgeable about certain things. So if there's something you want to do, call and don't be secretive about it. Don't be secretive about it. You know, what I hate is that's how we learn from each other. Sometimes people won't want to. I'm not saying you have to reveal exactly what your rates are, but there is an industry standard. Okay, there is an industry standard for certain things. So whether you're above or below, that's a different case. But help people out when they're asking. I really don't know what to charge. I'm thinking about this. Does that sound like it's in the right neighborhood or the right ballpark? Because if now this person goes and way undercharges because you didn't help them, that affects you too. That affects you as well. So William Slay says he's been there.
Yeah.
He gets it. Jose says, if Curtis does a taco meat sculpt, I will be his replacement. With MC Sir Exile, right?
Hey, what's up, Chance? Chance joined us over on
Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Chance? How are you? It's been a while. Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So absolutely. And Catherine Minnis says truth. Just saying, yo. Just saying. All right, so we're going to continue to go on. The cons is also, so here's the thing, because it's a hamster wheel and you got these analytics. Sometimes the analytics are important because, like Curtis said, you need to know where that drop off point is, where people lose interest, and what you can do to become better.
Right.
I get it, but the hamster wheel is also, there's a point sometimes where you have to have confidence in your own work, right?
Absolutely.
You know that you know your ish, okay? If you are constantly beholden to the drop-offs and the whims of your audience, unless you know you have a
Yes.
great audience and
Mm.
they're going to be, 100, like my Mediascope audience, I know that they're going to be 100 when it comes to things that, like, I try not to do things they don't like. I don't think I have yet, but I'm sure they'll like, hey, can you do more of XYZ rather than XYZ?
Right.
You know? So those are the things that you think about, but rather than being always beholden to the audience in terms of, oh, they said they didn't like this, so I'm not doing this anymore. But guess what? This is important.
Right.
Then maybe that means that you still do it, but do less of that, or do a smaller segment on that, because don't let that stop you from doing something that is critically important, because
Right.
entertaining the audience is important, but also getting correct and accurate information is out there as
Absolutely.
well. And
And
they
and
may
that's
not want to hear it all the time, but it is what it is. Go ahead.
absolutely. And that's why I was saying earlier, I guess alluding to, is that's why it's important to have, as a content creator, whether you're creating video, if you're creating documents or PDFs or any kind of content out there, where the public is, accessing your information, you really truly have to have nerves of steel as a content creator, because people aren't going to like it for whatever reason, and sometimes it's not even about you. It's just something that,
Often with audience
yeah,
members, it's them, right?
absolutely,
So it could be you,
yeah,
okay? But sometimes it's about them, and that has nothing to do with you. So you have to learn not to
yes,
take things as personal. And if somebody is really being abusive, that's the beauty of blocking tools, okay? That there's a difference between abuse and having a thick skin. Nobody has to deal with abuse, okay? So, real quick story before we go on to our next platform, in terms of having the thick skin you were talking about. So, I had been taking, it's been a while since I took it, but one of my favorite forms of dance that I took was Dunham technique. And for those of you who know, Catherine Dunham was a pioneer in the modern dance movement, and she formed the Dunham technique. And it is based on body isolations, it's ballet and African and a lot of things together. Love it. I took it for 7 years straight. So Dunham teachers are traditionally hard on you. So you need not take Dunham if you can't handle it. So I was told by my Dunham teacher that I breathe like a cement block, and cement blocks don't breathe, so that means I wasn't breathing. I was I was told, like, we would be doing things to the beat, and she would say to the beat, mechanical, and she would call me Natachi. I dare not correct her. She said mechanical Natachi. She would just get up. I would just laugh inside, not outwardly, but inside, because I knew that was her way of trying to make me better, but that I could not take that personally, because that's
right,
who she was and what she did.
right.
And she did to everybody, although she loved to do it to me. But it made me a better Dunham dancer because I was aware of the things that
Right,
she said.
right,
So
absolutely.
that's just a quick anecdote. So we're gonna move on now to our next, which is TikTok. Yeah,
No,
but
you're
you
the
didn't.
TikTok expert. 'Cause
Go ahead.
I said, you're the TikTok expert. I haven't known much about TikTok until you.
I am not the TikTok expert, really. I don't know. Here's the thing. There are so many platforms out there,
Right.
ladies and gentlemen. You may not feel like you need to be on every one, and that's fine. The thing that's going to, again, determine where you live stream is where your audience lives and what your content is about, right? The two may be existing at the same time. The two may not be. But it's about trying it and seeing seeing if it works. So
Absolutely.
TikTok is a platform, for those of you who don't know, TikTok used to be Musical.ly. Yes, it is very youth oriented. Yes, a lot of millennials and Gen Z and Gen Alpha, okay, the next generation, like TikTok, okay? We know it's youth oriented. That does not mean that it's not necessarily for you. So we're going to talk a little bit about TikTok. Oh, William, thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. William also says, I've had a few people say they don't like my hair, which of course has nothing to do with me. It gets me out of places I don't need to be. Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely. There you go. There you go. Okay, so it allows TikTok is cool because it allows you to have 15-second videos. So remember back in the Vine days, whatever your message was, you had to get it out in 6 seconds. This is a little bit longer. You've got like what? Almost 3 times longer, about 2.5 times longer. So you can do 15-second videos. And the good thing is about this is a place where you could actually push your business presence, particularly if you have something that is really youth oriented, or that could be something that the youth on there would be interested in, even in the near future. So again, it's about knowing your audience. Now, I will say, if you're selling funeral plots, TikTok is probably not the place where you want to be.
Music clocks.
No, funeral plots.
Oh, funeral plots.
Yeah, that may not be the place you want to. Oh, burial plots.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Burial plots. That may not be where you want to be. So it's about what your topic is, who your audience is, or could potentially be, right? And whether or not your potential audience lives there. Those are the things you need to consider with anything, but particularly with TikTok. So the thing is, they do these challenges, and the challenges are huge, right? So Jimmy Fallon did this challenge on there, and he got everybody to do it. They called it the hashtag haystack challenge or tumbleweed challenge, where you got on the floor and rolled like a tumbleweed. So he started it off, but it resonated with people. And Jimmy Fallon is not a millennial. Okay,
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
He's not a millennial, but a lot of celebrities have gotten on there and have latched on to TikTok. Okay. And the big thing is, now this is why TikTok could possibly work for you at what you want to do. If you watched Mediascope yesterday, you'll hear that the NFL has a deal with TikTok, right? So they have an account, they're going to be doing NFL related stuff on TikTok. They're going to be doing challenges, etc. The NFL is not necessarily youth oriented, if that makes sense. The people who watch football games and NFL it skews older. So what does that say? That that now we're starting to see this movement of people outside of the normal viewing range coming onto TikTok. Could this be an opportunity for you? I think probably, yeah. Yeah, so think about it. 500 million active users on TikTok, and they got this really quickly. It in 2018 was one of the most downloaded apps on the Apple App Store.
Yes.
Okay, and they have a lot of celebrity partnerships, as I said. Downloaded 80 million times. So there could be huge opportunity on TikTok. Again, this is not a live thing yet, but you cannot do live video yet, but you could do 15-second videos to engage audiences. So the challenges are a big thing. Think about doing, creating a challenge on TikTok, or latching onto a challenge that's already there and doing it in your own way, doing it in a different way that would cause other people to start to follow you and would resonate with them. Okay, so the challenges and the contests are big on TikTok. So those are something, obviously challenges and contests are things that work well with business, work well when you're trying to brand yourself as a personality. So think about doing that. And it is an app that you have to download.
Now, do you think enough businesses are actually, whether they're on TikTok or other platforms, are actually doing enough challenges or doing any challenges? I mean, I would say maybe a few are, but I mean, overall, keeping that engagement as TikTok is.
So this is the thing. I think what happens is that many businesses tend to be reactive instead of proactive. So they'll jump on the bandwagon once something else is,
right,
done. Which is okay. You see something, you're like, all right, we're going to do this our own way. Think of this whole Popeyes and Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich thing, right?
Yeah.
Foolish as it was. How
Right.
many people, how many businesses did not take advantage of the opportunity that lay with that? You think their chicken sandwiches are good? You need to come into Mama and Them's Chicken Shack on the corner of Highland and Jefferson in Memphis, Tennessee. I made that up.
Uh-oh, we're gonna get some viewer mail now.
From who? Mama and Them's Chicken
Mom and
Shack?
them chicken shack in Tennessee, Highland
Oh,
and Jefferson.
I hope so because
right
I'm
there, right there on the corner.
right there on the corner, up the street, down the road.
Right.
How many people did not take access of that or take advantage of that, right? Jump
Absolutely.
on the social media bandwagon and do that. So I think, to your point, I think there are many that are not
Mm.
taking advantage of things like
Right.
challenges, like that
Right.
popular hashtags, like they could. Free, and I'm saying this in quote, it is relatively free to be able to do that. And there's so many of you on here that do social media, that do
Right.
video and live streaming, so you understand the importance of it. The thing is getting the people who don't understand the importance of it to get that it needs to happen. Natalie Cruz says the chicken sandwich apocalypse was seeded and fueled by an agency. Absolutely, that and Black Twitter. Let's be real. Black Twitter had a lot to do with pushing that forward. So the thing is, really,
Yeah.
these platforms allow you to be your own mini ad agency. So that's a good point, Natalie Cruz, in terms of the agency, because you have the power to do that type of thing, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, as I said earlier, I don't think enough businesses are actually partaking in a lot of things that some of their bigger brands are doing. They can do on a smaller or local level as well. And
Absolutely.
they're not taking advantage of that.
Absolutely. So with this is also even if your tribe is not there now on TikTok, you can cultivate a tribe there. Probably you can send your tribe over there, and that does, yeah, again, because they're not there now doesn't mean that the people there cannot become part of your tribe, right? It's about consistency with doing it, and they could be your tribe in the future. So it's good for products and services. The good thing is that youth, we were talking about yesterday the low attention span, and I'm like, wow, this sounds like short attention spans, but it's snackable content. And
Right.
even though now everybody is all over the place, Facebook wants you to do 3-minute videos because 3-minute videos are pushed more. You only have 60 seconds in your timeline on Instagram, but if you use IGTV, you have up to 10 minutes. You can
Right.
post up to 10 minutes on LinkedIn, but you could do longer if you have access to LinkedIn Live. So it's all over the place on what works and what's what, right? But we know that for some viewers, snackable content, things that are 30 seconds or less,
Right.
works really well. So this is great snackable content length, a platform for snackable content if you're trying to put it out there like that. And it teaches you to be concise, to get your message out there in 15
Yes.
seconds, right? Starbucks
Absolutely.
was able to do that on Vine in 6
Yes.
seconds. 15 is like over twice that. You could do it.
Absolutely.
You could do it. And then promotion through contests, as I was mentioning. Now, in terms of the cons, because I know we have to get ready to wrap this up very soon. The cons, the content that you have may not resonate with the users that are there now.
Right.
Like I said, that doesn't mean it won't resonate at some other point, or that you cannot create some content related to what you want to do that will resonate. It's going to take you to think about it, to say, how can I make this resonate with the tribe or the community that's there now? Okay. So the other thing is your community may not be there now, but if you get in on the ground level and you keep making content, you can probably cultivate a community. Also, the time is brief. Some people just can't say what they need to say in 15 minutes. This show is supposed to be half an hour, and you see where we are now.
Cut. Cut. Take 2. Take 3.
Take 17. Exactly.
Right.
So it's really hard when you have a message to cut it down to 15 seconds,
Right.
but I think it's doable and it can be done, right?
Right. Right.
And then it's not immediate in terms of the yield with this. It's not going to be immediate for you.
That's huge. That's a huge piece because in a lot of different prospects I've spoken to, as far as creating video content or even building websites, for all that matters, that is the number one thing or number one question that most business owners are asking. What will this yield me, and how soon can I expect the money to be in the bank? Kind of, and that's a
How long
huge
did it take you
question.
to start your business? To
Mm,
me, here's the thing. I'm not
yeah,
trying to be funny, but if I ask you, um, how long did it take you to start this business? Did you start it in one day? Most people are going to be like, no, because, all right, so why would you expect to make money quickly?
but I completely understand where you're coming from, but I mean, really, that is the probably the number one asked question.
Right,
How soon can I get a return on this? I'm investing
right.
4 or 5 thousand, whatever the case might be, but how soon can I get a return on that?
No,
That's
and that is a
yeah,
valid question.
yeah,
But it's a question, the funny thing is this is the question that they ask all the time of social and new media
yeah,
platforms,
absolutely,
but they don't ask it for other things because for
absolutely.
some reason they expect social to be a magic bullet. It is
Hmm.
not. It still takes the same amount of effort and stick to itiveness that it would with a traditional linear platform. So, all right, simply because somebody saw your commercial on TV doesn't mean they're all going to rush in and,
Right.
okay, Popeyes has been doing chicken commercials for donkey's years.
Yeah,
Popeyes
absolutely.
always has people who come in and do these things, but it was the marketing of a specific thing that caused the lines around the corner, right?
Absolutely.
So that's what you have to think about with this. There may be one specific thing. And so, okay, this is where we'll talk about this later, where the Facebook ads and all of this comes in, where you're taking one specific concept or one specific idea, and that is where you're going to start to cultivate, right? It may
Right.
not be on the broad general idea you're trying to put out there. You may have to think a little more niche. You may have to think in terms of a specific campaign, right?
Right.
All right, and Natalie says there's a local business that took advantage and put up a video showing why their chicken sandwich with an M or two M's was better, and their line was out the door.
Mm,
Exactly. These agencies know which users to seed these campaigns in order to ensure or fuel viral content. And she also says a lot of these dance challenges are done the same way to
right.
make an artist's music go viral via seeding influencers and key users. Absolutely, Natalie. Yes, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I want you to, even though the social media world and the digital world and the video world, the digital video world works slightly differently than traditional linear media, you still need to employ those same principles.
Mm, absolutely.
There's not anything new really under the sun. So think about that. All right. So what we're going to do finally is really quickly cover Twitch. Twitch, yes, it's a gaming app. Everybody knows it. It is owned by Amazon. It is a gaming app, but it's more than a gaming app now. They have actual they have like different categories like just chatting, etc., where regular, everyday, normal users can come on and not game and put their stuff out there. Miss Eileen, for those of you who are live streamers, Eileen Smith. She has a YouTube channel. She's flourishing, but she also live streams every morning on Twitch under the Just Chatting thing. I can never, it's so early in the morning. Sometimes I catch her, sometimes I don't. But she does some great stuff. She talks about podcasting, she talks about video. So she does a lot of how to. So this shows you that you can do more than just game on Twitch. And why would you not want to be associated with Twitch? That's Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon is huge. And I think that's what we need to think about. What is the bigger payoff here?
Right. It's interesting because it's the same thing that the NFL has done, and I
Mhm.
think that keeping themselves, as you were preparing for the show yesterday, but keeping themselves relevant. And I think as business owners, we have to, uh, business owners, professionals, we have to keep it in mind, keeping ourselves relevant. How do we attract? How do we articulate our message, as I said earlier, and how do we uh, how do we share that message on video, and be it a snackable,
Mhm.
content within 15 seconds,
Mhm.
or a 30 or a 30-minute message or a 3-minute message, but how do
Mhm.
we share it in a way where it's concise? People,
We don't know because we're way over, but go ahead.
yeah, it's just figuring out how to share your message in a way that people can gravitate towards what you are selling, or what your service might
What you're
be.
putting out there. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um,
Gee.
yes, Jose. Yes, thank you for what we're not covering that today, but Mixer by Microsoft. You know about Mixer,
Yeah,
Curtis?
a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another live streaming platform, Mixer by
Hmm.
Microsoft. Microsoft is now trying to get into well, they're getting into the live streaming game, obviously, because of LinkedIn Live, right? LinkedIn is
Right.
Microsoft,
Right.
and so they've
Absolutely.
got this other platform, Mixer. Mixer is also gaming, right? But you can do some other things besides gaming on there. Very, very good.
Wow.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Wow. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So Twitch is very male centered. 81.5% of the people on Twitch are male. Okay. 55% are 18 to 34. So you got that is the millennial
Hmm.
core right there. So think about again, and the reason we're giving you these statistics and these demographics is because it will help you in terms of deciding, is this someplace that I need to be? Or is this someplace that I could possibly make what I do work? So knowing the demographics is helpful. Also, they have 15 million daily active users on Twitch, and between 2.2 and 3.5 million monthly active users. Okay, so the pros, it's Amazon. Okay, whether you like Amazon or not,
Right.
they are huge, and to be affiliated with them in some sort of way is helpful. So, and Amazon has all these other products. So, and they have an affiliate program. They have an affiliate program, and they have a oh, what is the name of their other program? Hmm. Affiliate and partner program.
Is that the I think the FBO or something like that? The partnership,
Um,
something
I don't know.
sales. Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's a good question. I don't know. But I know that they have 27 partners. So that means what you do is you apply to be a partner
Mhm.
with them. So they have 20, not 27, 27,000 partners,
Wow.
okay? And they have a few million affiliates. There are over 9 million channels on Twitch. So you can fit in somewhere, right? And people can subscribe. Now, what I don't know is if you have to hit a certain or particular benchmark in
Right.
order to be
Yeah.
eligible to have subscribers. But you can have people subscribe to your channel and they pay. So that's one level of monetization that you could do the subscriptions that way. Now, the cons is it's heavily male. So if you have something that is geared towards women, it may not do as
Right.
well. Doesn't mean it won't work, but it may not do as well. You may not get what your
You're right.
feminine hygiene products may not work well on Twitch. Okay,
Right.
just saying. Also, it skews young, the 18 to 34. So if you're trying to look outside of that age range, it may or may not work. Again, the thing is to try and to try
Right.
and make it work. It doesn't mean
Right.
it won't. It just means that this is not your primary audience if that is not who you're targeting your videos for.
Right.
Also, it's primarily gamers. Okay. So that could be a downside for you because a lot of people go to Twitch because of gaming, and they may not be looking for you for other things.
Right.
So that's what we wanted to talk about today. Those three
You know,
platforms.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I think in the same way that as I mentioned earlier, as the same way that a lot of these big brands or agencies are employing influencers, perhaps you don't have the pockets to employ a influencer or Will Smith or something like that, but uh, you can employ your child or someone in the neighborhood or something that you can create a script, do something where, for instance, like if you have content and you need to get it out on TikTok and you are older or over 18, over 25 or something like that, you might want to hire someone who's younger and that fits that age
Mm-hmm.
group to create a video for you, and you pay them XY, you pay them some money to create the video for you. But again,
Absolutely.
I think there's a lot that we can do the same way in that the different agencies are creating this content or using influencers. If we can't do it ourselves, we can hire someone to create the content and be uh, uh, just as a viable brand as other brands are.
Absolutely. I
So
agree. Natalie says that Twitch is looking for tons of content outside of gaming. Absolutely, because I think
yeah,
they want to be more than the gaming platform. Amazon realizes that there are tons of other people that don't game, and limiting themselves to gaming means they're missing out on some revenue.
mm,
So obviously they're looking for some more. Absolutely, Natalie. But I think in the public's mind, the public thinks gaming, and that's what people often go to Twitch for. But yeah, they're looking to expand. You're so right. And she also says, which I didn't know, that you need 50 followers, I think, but it doesn't mean you'll get a partner. More important is that you're consistent. Right. So I know you can apply to be
mm,
a partner. They have 27,000 now. Again, simply because you apply, like Natalie says, doesn't mean you'll get it. But consistency is the key with any of this.
right,
So
right.
you're so right. You're so right. And she says there aren't as many women, but the women that are on Twitch do well. You need to be unique and engaging. Right. And that is with anyone. And
Right,
see, the
absolutely.
thing is, that could be a great opportunity for you because there are not a lot of women
Yes,
in
yes,
that
absolutely.
space. You'll be the one that is, oh, that woman that's on Twitch,
Hmm.
you'll be that one that people look
Right.
at because you are forging new territory. So that could mean tremendous opportunity for you. Again, simply because feminine hygiene products don't work now
Right,
on
right.
Twitch doesn't mean that is not something you could do
Or just
later. I'm
simply doing something that stands out, that's different
right.
from the other women.
Right, doing something that's different from everyone,
Right.
right? I mean, I venture to say it's the same thing with race or ethnicity or any of these things. So simply because you may be the only one in a space doesn't mean that there's not room for others, and that you can take advantage of that, right? Sometimes being the only one or one of few. So think
Right.
about the opportunities rather than the fact that it's not here now. It doesn't mean that will be the case forever. And you could be the
Absolutely.
one that makes that the case for that particular platform. So today we talked about the pros and cons with YouTube, with TikTok, and with Twitch. We just scratched the surface of it. Our advice to you is and hey, my coach Tawana, what's up on the Facebook Live side? My advice to you, and I'm sure Curtis's advice to you, or he could give his own advice because he's grown. But my advice to you would be to just try it. Simply because it does not seem to be your demographic now doesn't mean you can't put your content on there. In fact, it makes you stretch and grow by trying to fit your content to different audiences. Because guess what? When you speak or you do presentations, everybody is not always the same. Sometimes you're asked to come and do a presentation to a group of high school students. Sometimes it's to a group of military vets. They're not the same audience. But so you have to tailor your message to that audience, right? So think about that with platforms. MC Curtis, any advice or whatever?
Yeah, I would just essentially echo the same thing that you're saying. Again, the information that we have been sharing with you is, I think, really great information. And just overall, you just have to do your homework, figure out which platform works best for you. Know that if you are selling, as a woman, if you're selling feminine
Hygiene products, say it.
yeah,
Say
hygiene
it.
products,
Mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
stuff. If you're selling those items, you want to find a platform that's going to work for that. Be it man or woman, whatever your service that you're offering or products that you're selling. You want to make sure that you have done your homework, and so that you're not preparing yourself to fail if you have not done your homework. And in fact, that the information is out there. You just Google. Matter of fact, let me grab this link here.
Okay.
There's
This
a
was
link
not
that Dr. Tachi shared with us yesterday.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And the link is www.omnicoreagency.com/YouTube-statistics.
So that OmniScore, does a lot of research on
Mhm.
social media, and they keep up with the statistics. So they have their reports for 2019. So if you
Right.
go to omniscore.com, if you just go there, they have it for almost every single
Right.
social platform, not, the major ones, let's say that. So if you're wanting to know the statistics in terms of, will this work for me? Well, let's take
Right.
a look at the demographics and the stats on this. And that's a starting point. Again, try it and be dedicated and see if it works. Even if it's not your chosen demographic necessarily, it may be a way to forge new territory. So thank you for
Absolutely.
putting that out there. Omniscore.com.
Yeah, I'm trying to type it in here.
You're trying. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
As Mr. Miyagi said in the Karate Kid, no try, do.
Yeah. Okay, I'm doing it.
Okay, there we go. So as you're doing that, before we wrap up, hello, my coach Tawana. And Jose says this show has been phenomenally super informational. Oh, so glad that you enjoyed it. Let's see. Thank you to everybody who was watching on LinkedIn Live, everybody watching on Periscope, on Twitter, everybody watching on Facebook Live, and everybody watching on YouTube. Thank you so much. We appreciate this, and hopefully this is helpful. And you know what you could do if there are specific questions about live streaming, or things that you would like to see us cover about live streaming or video, let us know. Should we give them your contact, MC?
Sure, you can give it to him.
Which one? Curtis Brooks
Facebook.
Media Pro at.
Yeah, Facebook is good.
Oh, okay. Well, what if they don't use Facebook?
Yeah.
You have an email address that?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
contact
what I
there.
meant.
Oh, that's what you meant? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's going to be Curtis Brooks Media Productions at gmail.com if you have questions in regards to the content that we've talked about. And
I'm mad you were like, well, I guess they can't ask me a question.
no, I just
I was like, the email. I was trying not to say it, but the email.
I'm sorry.
It's like,
I got other stuff going
they
over
don't
here.
have
Going over here.
I guess they just can't ask me a question. They just can't
No,
ask
no, I apologize. I was actually
That's
trying
okay.
to set up your a show card here.
Yeah,
But
no
yeah, you can
problem.
contact us or contact me at Curtis Brooks Media Productions, all one word, obviously, at gmail.com. And we'll discuss the questions together and get back to you.
Yeah. Cool. This was an awesome show. Thank you all so much for being here. And yeah, you can catch us. So we're together twice a week. You could catch us on Mediascope Wednesday night at 6 p.m. on Periscope, Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, and WJMSradio.com. And then that's 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And then you can also catch us here Thursdays at 2-ish. Never 2 o'clock, 2-ish on LinkedIn Live, Periscope, Twitter, Facebook Live, and YouTube. And with that, we will see you guys next week. Cheers, guys. You don't want to say bye, MC?
Oh, we'll see you. I'm trying to get this screen to work here. It doesn't appear to be
That's
working.
okay.
But hey, everyone, it's been a great show. We'll see you next week, as Dr. Tachi has said already.
Just said, yeah.
Ciao.
Okay, cheers.